Welcome to the most comprehensive Summoned Skull guide on YouTube. In this video, I'll be going over not just one, but 6 Summoned Skull strategies, all of which are legal within Yugioh Master Duel. And what I want you to do is comment down below which variant you would like me to climb the Master Duel ladder with first. So having spent what felt like an eternity putting these decks together, I have created what I think are some of the better ways to play Summoned Skull. Let's get into it. So this is the all variant, so it tries to incorporate as many of the different Summoned Skull variants as possible. So we have one Red Eyes Black Dragon, one Summoned Skull, one Archfiend Empress, Dogmatica Maximus, 2 Fallen of Albaz, a Rocket Tracer, Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, Dogmata Ecclesia the Virtuous, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous, a lot of Virtuouses, Dark Spirit of Banishment, a Farfa, 2 Heiress, Shell Rocket Dragon, Dogmatica Albazoa, Archfiend's Awakening, White Relic of Dogmatica, 3 Nadir Servant, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Dogmatic Calamity, 1 Advanced Ritual Art, 3 Brandon High Spirits, 2 Quick Launch, 1 Dogmatica Matrix, 1 Boot Sector Launch, 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 2 Archfiend's Roar, and 1 Symbol Archfiends. And then in the extra deck, we have 1 Black Skull Dragon, 1 Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Alba Lenitus the Abyss Dragon, 1 Granguinal, a Despia Quiritus, Rindbrum the Striking Dragon, Despian Luluwalilith, a Chaos Angel, Chaos Archfiend, Archfiend's Call, 3 Herald of the Arclight, and a Striker Dragon. Okay, so the first combo I'm going to show you starts with Quick Launch. Summon Rocket Tracer from the deck. Rocket Tracer is going to be link Rocket Tracer into Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon is going to search for Boot Sector Launch, activate Striker Dragon's effect, destroy itself to bring Rocket Tracer back into the hand. Boot Sector Launch is then going to special summon Rocket Tracer, and then we can destroy Boot Sector Launch to summon Shell Rocket Dragon straight from the deck. So that is our 1 card Archfiend's Call. Now, because we control a extra deck special summoned monster, we're going to special summon Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. Ecclesia's effect will then search for a Dogmatica card. In this case, it's going to be Dogmatica Matrix. Then we activate Nadir's Servant, send Herald of the Arclight into the graveyard to add White Relic of Dogmatica into the hand. Herald is then going to search for Dogmatica Calamity. Then Dogmatica Calamity can ritual summon White Relic by sending another Arclight into the graveyard. Arclight is going to search again, and White Relic is going to buff our Archfiend's Call. Archfiend's Call gets buffed to 4000 attack. We then search for Archfiend's Awakening, activate Dogmatica Matrix, allowing us to search for Albazoa, which is one of our other boss monsters. But because we control a ritual monster, we can then also use its effect to send another Arclight into our graveyard. This Arclight will search out for Advanced Ritual Art. Ritual Art will then get rid of Summoned Skull to summon Archfiend's Awakening onto our side of the field. So in this combo, we have at least 2 of the variants. Awakening is probably one of the stronger ones. Neither of them can be targeted. Archfiend's Call has 4000 attack. It's also something of an OTK if you happen to go second. They don't have a board. And there's also a disruption in the form of White Relic, where it can send monsters from your opponent's extra deck into the graveyard. Very similar combo. We're going to use Quick Launch into Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer into Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon Boot Sector Launch. Striker Dragon destroy itself, bring Rocket Tracer into the hand. Boot Sector Launch, summon it straight back onto our side of the field. Low up Boot Sector Launch to summon Shell Rocket Dragon from the deck. Bring out Archfiend's Call. Activate Ecclesia, summon itself. Activate Ecclesia's effect, and here we're going to bring Dogmatica Maximus into our hand. Nadir's Servant to send a Herald of the Arclight into the graveyard to search out White Relic. Herald of the Arclight will then search for Dogmatica Calamity. Calamity, summon White Relic by getting rid of another Arclight. Arclight Chainlink 1, Relic effect Chainlink 2, bump up Archfiend's Call to 4000 attack. And here we're going to search for Archfiend's Awakening. Then we use Dogmatica Maximus, getting rid of one of our Arclights to summon itself onto our side of the field. Use Maximus's effect, getting rid of Arclights, but then also another card of our choosing. Here we can either get rid of Alba Lenitus to bring Red Eyes Fusion into our hand at the end of the turn, or we can get rid of Granguinal to special summon on the opponent's turn. So that's what I'm going to do. Arclight's effect is going to activate, bringing Advanced Ritual Art into our hand. And then finally, we activate Advanced Ritual Art, sending Summoned Skull into the graveyard to summon Archfiend's Awakening onto our side of the field. So although the all variant is quite cool, you can decide to specialize in a particular variant of Summoned Skull. So here is the Fusion variant. We have Red Eyes Black Dragon, 2 Summoned Skull, 1 Archfiend Empress, 1 Aluba, 2 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Guiding Quem, 1 Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, 1 Blazing Cartesia, a Dark Spirit of Banishment, 2 Edge Imp Sabers, 1 Farfa, 2 Archfiend Heiress, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Fusion Deployment, 2 Polymerization, 3 Fright Fur Patchwork, 1 Branded Fusion, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 Branded in High Spirits, 3 Branded Opening, 1 Archfiend's Oath, 2 Fusion Recycling Plant, 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 Symbol Archfiends. Then in the extra deck, we have a Black Skull Dragon, an Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, an Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Lubellion, Alba Lenitus, Granguinal, a Despia Quiritus, Rindbrum, Archfiend's Manifestation, Garura, Mud Dragon, Despia Luluwa Lilith, Chaos Angel, and Chaos Archfiend. So first of all, I'll just show you the very straightforward branded fusion play, which is just into Lubellion by getting rid of Summoned Skull and Fallen of Albaz, and then you just use its effect to summon Archfiend's manifestation from the deck. And all this deck effectively does is try to exploit branded cards and some Frightfur cards to fuse as much as you like. So we're going to start off with Frightfur Patchwork, bring Edge Imp Sabers and Polymerization into our hand. We use Branded and High Spirits, getting rid of the Heiress. This will then send Quiritis into the graveyard, discard the Heiress, search for a Guiding Quem. Heiress will then search for Summoned Skull. Then before we do anything, we'll summon Guiding Quem, use her effect to send any sort of branded card into the graveyard. So here we're going to send Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. Now we'll activate Polymerization, bring out Archfiend's manifestation, and here Guiding Quem's effect will activate, bringing Ecclesia onto our side of the field. So now we have a few options. We can, if you want to get rid of manifestation, go into Chaos Angel. So that's a light dark Chaos Angel, so it's pretty strong. We could get rid of Ecclesia into Fallen of Albaz, which will let us bring out a Chaos Archfiend, which will go into Chaos Angel anyway. Or we can leave it, and on the opponent's turn, we can try and use Albaz to fusion off. We've got Father in hand for a banish. We have Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch for another pop. Already this is quite a decent field. We also have Branded Opening. The nice thing about this is that it's the same as Branded in High Spirits. It discards for effect, so we can get rid of Heiress and we still get the search. Here we can special summon Aluba, or we can special summon Quem. I'm going to special summon Quem. Heiress's effect is going to activate, and then of course we have Quem's effect as well. Get rid of Ecclesia, and with the search we're going to put Simmel Archfiend into our hand. Then we'll activate Frightfur Patchwork, bring Polymerization and our Edge Imp Sabers. Then we'll activate Branded Fusion. Let's go into Lubellion by getting rid of our Summoned Skull and our Fallen of Albaz. Lubellion's effect is going to activate, and we have Guiding Quem's effect as well. We'll just bring Ecclesia back onto our side of the field. Lubellion of course can summon basically anything, but being a Summoned Skull deck, we're going to bring our Archfiend's manifestation, so put Summoned Skull back into the deck with the Fallen of Albaz. Now we have Simmel, which is basically a D-barrier lock. We have the float off of Summoned Skull, we have a Fallen of Albaz, Super Poly. So this is a test hand, so we opened a bunch of spells and an Archfiend Heiress. We're going to start off with Branded Opening, getting rid of the Heiress, and we're going to special summon Guiding Quem onto our side of the field. Chaining 1 Heiress, chaining 2 Quem. I am going to send Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous into the graveyard. Archfiend Heiress is going to search for Simmel Archfiends. Then we'll activate Frightfur Patchwork, bringing Polymerization and Edge Imp Sabers into our hand. Fusion Deployment, bring out Summoned Skull straight from the deck. Activate Polymerization into Archfiend's manifestation. Our Guiding Quem's effect is going to activate, bringing out Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous onto our side of the field. And we'll just activate Fusion Recycling Plant, set Simmel Archfiends, and then during the end phase, activate Fusion Recycling Plant to bring Summoned Skull back into our hand. I'm sure there was probably a better combo. So we have Incredible Ecclesia into Fallen of Albaz. We have Guiding Quem to revive stuff. We have Simmel as a D-barrier lock, and we have the Summoned Skull float as well. And if fusioning isn't really your thing, then I've got the Ritual variant for you. So this is all focused on summoning Archfiend's Awakening, the Ritual Summoned Skull, and it makes best use of the Dogmatica cards in order to bring it out. And the quickest way to achieve this is with a standard 2-card combo. So we start off with Nadir's Servant. This is going to put Herald of the Arclight into the graveyard to search White Relic of Dogmatica. The cool thing about this variant is that you can rely on multiple versions of Herald of the Arclight to search out all of the ritual stuff that you want. So we'll start off with using Dogmatica Calamity. This will ritual summon the White Relic that we just searched, getting rid of the Herald of the Arclight again. This will trigger another Arclight effect to search for another ritual type card. So we'll search for our Archfiend's Awakening. Then we'll normal summon Ecclesia and then use its effect to search for a Dogmatica card. We have the choice of either Dogmatica Maximus or Dogmatica Matrix. Dogmatica Matrix is really good if they control a monster, because then we get to search for 2 cards. Otherwise we can just search for Maximus, use its effect, banishing the Arclight from the graveyard, summoning itself. Then we'll use Maximus's effect to ditch 2 monsters from the extra deck to the graveyard. So that's going to be our last Arclight, and then it can be anything else that we want, but we're going to put Garura into the graveyard just so that we get an extra draw. So Arclight's effect is going to activate, then we'll use Garura to draw a card. That's always nice, and we'll bring Advanced Ritual Art from our deck to our hand. Then we can go ahead and activate Advanced Ritual Art, getting rid of the Summoned Skull to summon Archfiend's Awakening. So the nice thing about this setup is that it brings out our monster turn 1, and we also have a disruption from White Relic on the opponent's turn, and then Maximus of course ditches 2 cards from their extra deck to the graveyard as well, which may or may not disrupt them. But that's not all, everyone. If we extend this further to a 3-card combo, we can summon Tour Guide of the Underworld. Pray it doesn't get Ash Blossomed. Summon Fiendish Rhino Warrior straight from the deck. We're going to link these off into Muckraker from the Underworld. Use Fiendish Rhino Warrior's effect to send Barrier Statue of the Abyss into the graveyard. Now because we have a monster from the extra deck summoned, we can special summon Ecclesia from our hand. Use Ecclesia's effect to bring any card that we like. We're going to put Dogmatica Maximus into our hand. Activate Nadir's Servant, sending our Arclight from the extra deck to the graveyard, bringing White Relic into the hand. So this is the standard stuff that you saw first of all. So we're going to bring Dogmatica Calamity, ritual summon White Relic by sending another Arclight, bring White Relic out, and now we can chainlink 1, Herald of the Arclight, chainlink 2 White Relic. It doesn't really matter which ones you pick. I'm just going to choose Ecclesia and the Muckraker. Now we can bring whatever we like, so I'm going to bring Archfiend's Awakening. You may have noticed Albazoa in that search criteria as well. That kind of acts as an extra win condition. Anyway, banish Herald of the Arclight, summon Maximus. Maximus's effect, we're going to go ahead and send our final Arclight and our Garura into the graveyard. So we get to draw, and then we also get to put Advanced Ritual Art into our hand. Activate Advanced Ritual Art, summoning the Archfiend's Awakening, sending the Summoned Skull. And then finally, we use Muckraker's effect to revive our Barrier statue, so getting rid of the card that we drew. And now we lock Special Summoning into Dark. We have our extra deck Send, and we also have Archfiend's Awakening, which is a wall, but can also float into Summoned Skull when we need him to. So this is the deck in a nutshell. So we play 2 Summoned Skull, we play Dogmatica Maximus. We still have our Fallen of Albaz package to an extent. So we play 1 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. Then we play Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous, Barrier Statue of the Abyss, Fiendish Rhino Warrior, a Farther for the Glitch Send. We play 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, 2 Archfiend Heiress, a Dogmatica Albazoa, which is just a great boss monster to have, very easily accessible in this deck. We have 5-headed dragon to send from Dogmatica Calamity. We play 2 Archfiend's Awakening, our main boss monster of the deck, White Relic of Dogmatica, pretty standard disruption tool, easily searchable, easily summoned, 3 Nadir Servant, 1 Foolish Burial, a Preparation of Rites. This is just an extra bit of recyclability. The annoying thing is that Archfiend's Awakening isn't searchable by pre-prep, very frustrating. 2 Dogmatica Calamity, 1 Advanced Ritual Art, 1 Contract with the Abyss in case we have Summoned Skull in the hand, 1 Dogmatica Matrix, 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 3 Dogmatica Punishment, 1 Simul Archfiends, and 3 Renewal of the World. Renewal is fairly slow, but it's quite a nice tech that I'm using. So basically you just banish a ritual from the deck, then you can basically add it into your hand, or you can ritual summon it. In the extra deck, it's kind of like Dogmatica Tex and then some other flavor stuff. So we have 5-headed dragon, we have a Mirror Jade, which is a Fallen of Albaz target, we have Grand Guignol, which is a Dogmatica Punishment target, we have a Rindbrum. This is mainly to recycle some materials so that we can summon Chaos Archfiend, 2 Garura for the draw, 1 Enters for the pop, a Despia Luluwalilith. So this is the monster we can summon off of Grand Guignol. We have Chaos Angel, Chaos Archfiend, pretty standard, 3 Herald of the Arclight, and then we have 1 Typhon and 1 Muckraker. Right, so now we're moving on to the Synchro version of Summoned Skull. So we want to summon Archfiend's Call as reliably as possible, in addition to any other card that we might have in our hand ready to go. This deck relies on a few extenders, so we've got Quick Launch, which is basically a 1-card Archfiend's Call, and we also have Emergency Teleport as well. So just to showcase Quick Launch, so we just activate it, bring Rocket Tracer onto our field, then we link this off into Striker Dragon, which will search for Boot Sector Launch. Striker Dragon's effect can just destroy itself, bringing Rocket Tracer back into the hand. And you've probably seen this sort of thing before, so we just activate Boot Sector Launch, use its effect, and that will special summon Tracer from the hand onto the field. What this does is it provides a material for Rocket Tracer to destroy to bring out another rocket from the deck. So now we have a level 2 rocket and a level 4 rocket, and then we just synchro both of those off into Archfiend's Call. And then to showcase Emergency Teleport, so this would bring out Xiamen, paying 600 life points to bring Foxy Tune into the hand. Foxy Tune discards for effect, which is always nice. So we get rid of Archfiend Heiress, and then we can summon Dear Note onto our side of the field. Heiress's effect will activate, letting us search for basically whatever we want. I'm going to bring Simul into the hand. Then we can synchro both of these off into Dragon Drive. Dragon Drive's effect will activate, paying 600 life points, and then we also activate a couple of more monsters' effects as well. So I'm going to bring Xiamen onto our side of the field. I'm also going to use Xiamen's effect to kind of chain block everything, just to increase the attack of our Dragon Drive. We then search for Psychic Tracker, so we just bring that into the hand, and because we have Xiamen on the field, we can special summon this, and then synchro those off into Archfiend's Call. All of that was without a normal summon either, so depending on what else you have in your hand, you can also kind of go off from there. We have Simul Archfiend, which is basically a D-barrier lock. So just to break the deck down, we have Summoned Skull, obviously. We have Archfiend Empress, we have a Foxy Tune, Dear Note, 2 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Rocket Tracer, 1 Salamander Catalyzer, which is kind of an extender. We have Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous, Psychic Tracker, 1 Dark Spirit of Banishment, a Punk Shadow Kusai, Farther, 2 Archfiend Heiress, Xiamen, 1 Mental Tuner, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Shell Rocket Dragon, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 Branded in High Spirits, 2 Quick Launch, 2 Emergency Teleport, 3 Falling Down, got to get that Snatch still in there somewhere, Boot Sector Launch, 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 Simul Archfiends. Then in the extra deck, we have Black Skull Dragon. For some reason, Why do we have Black Skull Dragon? And then in the extra deck, we have Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon, Granguinol, Despia Quiritis. It works quite well because it can make all monsters attack 0. Ryan's Brum, standard stuff, you've seen it already. We have a Rising Carp, which is basically an extender. If we happen to kind of brick with the Punk cards, you can still use Rising Carp to bring out everything that you need. Despia Luluwa, again, it's a Granguinol target. It's an easy way to cheese it out. Then with Chaos Angel, Dragon Drive, a Thought Ruler Archfiend because it's cool. We have a Chaos Archfiend, Archfiend's cool, 1 Typhon, a Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, 1 Muckraker, and 1 Striker Dragon. This deck in the TCG is slightly better than Master Duel because you can sub a few of these cards out for Bishbolkin, and Bishbolkin can put a lot of tokens on the field, and then all of those can be used as basically synchroed fodder. Okay, so this is a test hand, so we have Emergency Teleport right off the bat, which is pretty cool. So use that to bring out Xiamen straight from the deck. Use Xiamen's effect. Bring Dianote, because we already have Foxy Tune, we can just use Dianote's effect to discard it to summon itself. Synchro both of these off into Dragon Drive, and Dragon Drive's effect will then activate, allowing us to search for Psychic Tracker, and then we can also use Dianote's effect to revive the Xiamen straight from our graveyard. And we can also use Xiamen's effect to boost our monster's attack. Then we'll special summon it onto our side of the field, and we can synchro both of those off into Archfiend's Call. Now, because we haven't normal summoned yet, we can summon Rocket Tracer, and then we can link that off into Striker Dragon to go through that line as well. We'll search Boot Sector Launch, activate Boot Sector Launch, and then we'll use Striker Dragon's effect, target itself, destroy it, bring out Rocket Tracer into our hand, use Boot Sector Launch to summon the Rocket Tracer. Now that we have a material to destroy, we may as well go ahead, destroy Boot Sector Launch, summon Shell Rocket Dragon from our deck. Now we can go into another Archfiend's Call if we want to. So now we have 2 Archfiend's Call, they will flow into Summoned Skull. We have a Glitch and an Imperm, so that's all around not a bad field. Moving on though, we have our Exceed Summoned Skull variant, so this focuses on summoning Archfiend's Ascent from the extra deck. It looks a bit funky, I'm not going to lie, this is probably the weaker of all the variants because Archfiend's Ascent kind of does nothing apart from sit there and look menacing. But one way to showcase what the deck does is we normal summon Tour Guide from the Underworld, pray it doesn't get Ash Blossomed, summon a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, link both of those off into Muckraker, then Rhino Warrior's effect will activate, letting us send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. In this case it's going to be Fabled Sulcius, and then we'll use Ready Fusion, paying 1000 life points to summon Soul Hunter, use Muckraker's effect, summon Fabled Sulcius, discarding the Heiress. Then we get Archfiend Heiress's effect to bring, say, a Glitch or a Simul Archfiends into the hand, and then from there we can just Exceed into Archfiend's Ascent. But this deck has some quirky stuff, right? So you can start off by normal summoning Tour Guide from the Underworld, use Tour Guide's effect to bring out Fiendish Rhino Warrior, standard stuff. Instead of Muckraker though, we're going to special summon Master King Archfiend, use Fiendish Rhino Warrior's effect to send an Archfiend Heiress from the deck to the graveyard. Then we can basically guarantee the search by using Master King as a Chain Link 2. This will either recycle it, in this case I rolled a 6, so it summons it straight onto the field, and then we could put a Archfiend card into our hands. We're going to put Archfiend Heiress, activate Ready Fusion, paying 1000 life points to summon Soul Hunter. Because Master King is on the field, we can use Master King's effect to send our Agmal, the Fiendish Monarch, into the graveyard. We're not going to use Master King's effect though, we're just going to keep it in the graveyard. And because we have Link into the Reigns, we can use this to special summon the monster that we searched, then immediately link those off into Muckraker from the Underworld. Now because we rolled a 6, I'm going to tribute Heiress, but normally you would tribute the Master King. Now we can use Muckraker from the Underworld to bring back the level 6 that we just discarded, Exceed the 2 monsters that we have into Archfiend's Ascent. Now because we also play Shadow's Light, we can use that to Exceed as well. So I'm going to bring Fiendish Rhino Warrior onto our side of the field, and I'm going to link both of those off into Master King Archfiend. Rhino Warrior's effect is going to activate, basically sending whatever we want. I'm going to put Dark Spirit of Banishment into the graveyard. Then I'll activate Ready Fusion, paying 1000 life points to summon Soul Hunter from the extra deck. Because we paid 1000, Master King Archfiend can send our Archfiend Heiress, getting a free Archfiend search. Always want to chain block it with Master King Archfiend. And I rolled a 6 again. Fantastic, everyone. Now here we can add whatever we want. I'm going to add Archfiend Empress into our hand. Then we'll activate Shadow's Light, targeting the Soul Hunter to bring out Fabled Sulcius from the deck. Link into the Reigns, summon Archfiend Empress, getting rid of the Master King Archfiend in the process, summoning Muckraker. Use Dark Spirit of Banishment to recycle itself. Now we can go into our Archfiend's Ascent. Now we can use Muckraker to revive maybe Archfiend Empress for additional protection, or Fiendish Rhino Warrior for even more protection as well. This is quite a good setup. So the deck in a nutshell: 1 Summoned Skull, obviously. We have Archfiend Empress, 1 Fabled Deianira, primarily a Shadow's Light or Duality target. We have an Angmal, the Fiendish Monarch. Master King sends it pretty quickly. Fabled Sulcius, just because Because it's a light, it also has the Graveyard Revival, which is not too bad. 3 Salamander Catalyzer, we kind of need it in this deck. Dark Spirit of Banishment, 1 Fiendish Rhino Warrior, a Farther, 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, 2 Archfiend Heiress, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Link into the Rains, 3 Shadows Light, 3 Ready Fusion, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 Duality, 2 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 2 Archfiend's Roar, and a Simul Archfiends. Then in the extra deck, we have Magnum the Reliever, a light level 8 Fiends for Duality, 3 Soul Hunter, 1 Chaos Archfiend, this is pretty much the ultimate goal of Duality, 1 Archfiend's Call, again Duality brings out easily, 2 Fabled Andraith, Duality target again, Wave Hiking Caesar, just because it's basically better than Archfiend's Ascent in every way, but obviously the goal is to summon Archfiend's Ascent first, 2 Master King Archfiend, then 2 Markraker from the Underworld. So far I've showed you an all variant, a Fusion, Ritual, Synchro, and Exceed variant, but what Summoned Skull guide would it be if we didn't have the original Summoned Skull Beatdown? And here it is in all its glory. So we have 3 Summoned Skull, rocking 3 different variants, of course. We have a Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, we have an Archfiend Empress, a lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, 3 Labyrinth Servant Ariana, 1 Fiendish Rhino Warrior, a Farther, Tour Bus from the Underworld, 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, 2 Archfiend Heiress, 3 Fusion Deployment, 3 Foolish Burial Goods, a Metal Foes Fusion, Summoner's Art, Heavenly Dragon Circle, 2 Labyrinth, 3 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, 2 Welcome Labyrinth, 2 Archfiend's Roar, 3 Dogmatica Punishment, 1 Big Welcome Labyrinth, and 1 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. Then in the extra deck we have 5-Headed Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Black Skull Dragon, 3 Elder Entity Entis, 1 Wind Pegasus Ignista, an Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, Nightmare Unicorn, 2 Master King Archfiend, a Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, and 2 Markraker from the Underworld. Now check this deck out in all its glory. Obviously starting off with Fusion Deployment, bringing out a Summoned Skull straight from the deck. Use Foolish Burial Goods, we can send whatever we want. But you know what we're going to send? Heavenly Dragon Circle to the graveyard and banish it to bring Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi straight into our hand. This is a counter, and we also have Ghastly Glitch, so that's a pop. We have an Archfiend's Roar, and then we also have Archfiend Heiress in hand for an additional search. So here we go, 2500 attack already. Turn 1, we have a negate, a pop, and a revive. Now we play a Labyrinth tech because it's quite good to revive our Summoned Skull over and over again. So it's very much focused on using the field spell to revive, but then also the trap effects to recycle and use them. But then also we use the level 8 Labyrinth monsters to recycle and search out our normal traps, like Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch and Archfiend's Roar. So we can start off by normal summoning Labyrinth Servant, use the effect. This can bring Labyrinth of the Silver Castle into the hand. We can summon it onto our side of the field. Because we have the field spell in our hand, we can activate it straight away. Then we can link both of those off into Muckraker. Use Muckraker's effect to revive Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. We have Heiress in our hand, so we may as well discard that. Bring Archfiend Glitch into our hand. So we have 3 traps here. The Glitch will send our Summoned Skull and we can revive it. We'll set Welcome Labyrinth and we'll set Archfiend's Roar as well. So we've got more test hands, again Labyrinth Servant, so we'll use its effect. And then we'll bring Big Welcome Labyrinth into our hand. Because we have Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, we can summon it onto our side of the field, then activate our field spell. Then because we have Heiress in the hand, we're going to link both of these off into Muckraker. Use Muckraker's effect to revive one of them. That's going to be Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So we'll get rid of Archfiend Heiress, special summon this, activate Heiress's effect. We already have Summoned Skull in hand, so we may as well search for an Archfiend trap. That's going to be Archfiend Glitch, and then we'll set both of those and then we'll end our turn. Let's just say, for example, they activate a card. We are going to activate Archfiend Glitch to pop one of their cards. This will immediately trigger our Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, letting us set maybe Dogmatica Punishment or Archfiend's Roar. I'm just going to put Archfiend's Roar onto our side of the field. Their card gets destroyed. We get to send a monster from the deck to the graveyard. That's going to be our Summoned Skull. And because we have Labyrinth, we can revive the Summoned Skull that we just got rid of. I had a lot of fun building Summoned Skull Beatdown. This is probably one of the funner variants that you can play. The all variant is one of the stronger ones, I guess, but they all have their merits. So pick the one that caters to your playstyle the most and just have a bit of fun with it. Like I say, they're all Master Duel legal, so please comment down below which one you think I should play first and to see how far I can climb in the ranked ladder. Which Summoned Skull variant is the strongest? Summoned Skull Beatdown is obviously focused on summoning Summoned Skull and then beating over your opponent with the considerable force that he has. In my particular variant, we have Empress to revive the Summoned Skull, and we use a Labyrinth package in order to recycle our spells such as Archfiend's Roar to keep Summoned Skull on the field. Because we have Glitch as well, Labyrinth is also another way to keep Summoned Skull stuck on our side of the field. We have a couple of techs here and there. So Torbus from the Underworld lets us put monsters back into the deck. This can be quite useful in the grind game. We have Farther, which again, it turns Glitch into a 2 disrupt instead of a 1. We also use Foolish Burial Goods. So Metal Foes Fusion is the classic, mill it, draw a card, standard stuff. We use this primarily to search for our counter trap, and if that gets destroyed, we can summon Black Skull Dragon straight from our extra deck, or Blue Eyes Ultimate. There are other variants that exist for Summoned Skull Beatdown, where it relies on using Foolish Burial Goods to mill Monarch's Erupt, basically as a way to negate your opponent's board, and you also use cards like Skill Drain. So that variant, of course, is viable, it's cool, but I have a lot more fun using this because it just feels a bit more dynamic. It's not locked into like one all or nothing strategy. You have ways to recycle and play, despite the fact that Summoned Skull is really old. The Exceed variant of Summoned Skull obviously is focused on bringing 2 level 6 monsters onto your side of the field. Archfiend's Ascent protects itself twice, and then it will float into Summoned Skull, so you kind of just wall up, and then you can use cards like Duality to bring out Chaos Archfiend, and then you can use Master King Archfiend to like send monsters into the graveyard as disruption tools. It's kind of like a weird mid-range control deck. I'm not really sure where it fits. It's definitely one of the weaker ones that I've come up with. The Synchro variant of Summoned Skull is quite explosive because it has quick launch and emergency teleports. You can summon stuff fairly easily. Going into Archfiend's Call is also really easy. It has a lot of cards that discard for effect as well, so Branded in High Spirits being one of them, Foxy Tune being another, so that's a really easy way to get your ARS searches. It's also one of the variants that I thought Falling Down fits well in because you can summon monsters fairly easily, say if you're turn 2, because you've got a lot of quick plays, right? So that more often than not can probably bring some sort of Archfiend onto your side of the field. Then you can start stealing your opponent's monsters. If you have 3 Falling Down in your hand, you can basically win the game very quickly because you just steal everything. Mental Tuner can be quite useful for modulating levels as well, so that allows for like a Chaos Archfiend play. The Ritual variant feels very self-contained, to be quite honest, so it has that stun factor by using Barrier Statue of the Abyss. Archfiend's Awakening is probably the strongest Summoned Skull variant because it can't be destroyed by basically anything that isn't a ritual, so it has that going for it. Because we use the Dogmatica cards, we're also stunting the opponent's strategy because we're taking cards from their extra deck and also just getting rid of them. The alternate win condition being Albazoa, which can like discard most things from their hand or extra deck. It's really strong. 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense is also nothing to smirk at. It also feels really consistent because you just get rid of Arclights from your extra deck and then you just search out all the ritual stuff that you like. You can even tech in Winder because you use Dogmatica Maximus, and that's basically a 1-card Winder. Fusion Summoned Skull uses branded cards. It's pretty straightforward. It's one of the only variants that uses Red Eye's Fusion, so that can bring out either Black Skull Dragon or it can bring out Archfiend's Black Skull Dragon, which is like an alternative win condition because it can burn for 2400 using your Red Eyes Black Dragon. Again, this is one of the variants that discards for effect, so Branded in High Spirits can get you your ARS searches. Exactly the same with Branded Opening. There are lots of different shenanigans you can do with Quem because Quem can revive your Ecclesias from the graveyard. So depending on if you want to go into Fallen of Albaz for like a disrupt that way, or you can go into Blazing Cartesia to do some fusion summoning. The nice thing about that is you can bring out Albion the Sanctified Dragon, which lets you revive 2 monsters basically. So that can be quite good for, say, putting a Farther onto the field to get its banish effect immediately. You can put Empress onto your side of the field to protect your Archfiend's manifestation. Because this deck also uses the Fright Fur package, we gain access to Archfiend's Oath. This allows you to Oath stack, which is a really cool mechanic that I wish we could exploit more. You basically use Edge Imp Sabers, put a card from your hand onto your deck, then Archfiend's Oath lets you draw back into it, or you can mill it. So if you wanted to get a ARS effect, you just call the wrong card, ARS goes into your graveyard, and then you get a free search. And then of course we have the variant that tries to use basically all, or as many variants as humanly possible. This deck is one of those ones where you kind of have like other options that you can do in case you get interrupted. So it's got that flexibility element to it. The only issue is that it doesn't really know where it fits. Are you going to summon a ritual monster, in which case you're locked out of the extra deck? Are you going to go into manifestation and kind of go through your Fallen of Albaz plays? It really depends on what you want to do. It can get quite clunky at times, which makes it a bit harder to pilot, but it's still quite strong because it has that super poly aspect. It's got the extra deck destruction as well. It has a lot going for it. I just personally prefer using one of the dedicated variants, but that's my preference. So there you have it, everyone. This was a very long video. It showcased 6 different Summoned Skull deck lists. I really hope you enjoyed it. It took me a while to put it all together. Please let me know which variant you prefer. Please let me know which Summoned Skull you prefer. And again, don't forget to let me know which one you want me to use first to climb in the Master Duel ranks ladder. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you around.